fans, how are you? Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video, of course, we are still going to talk about dramione fanfiction recommendation. In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys my favorite 30 to 40,000 word fic, and these are fic that I feel like is perfect for when you don't want to commit yourself to a bigger piece, or even like a 75 to 80,000 word piece seems too long for you, but you also don't want to do a one shot or like a 10,000 word story. You want a little bit more than that. Then I would go and choose to read one of the 30 to 40,000 word fic, and I feel like they are just great in between pieces for when you want to take a break from bigger pieces of work, or when you get ready to read another piece of work. Let's get the video started, shall we? Before I start with the recommendation for today, I want to mention 3 honorable mentions, and not for a reason related to like the quality of the work or like my ranking or anything like that. The first 2 that we have, Our Share Silent by Volfas Totem, and this is around 40,000 word, and the second one I have is 5 Day by Raven Snake, and this is around 30,000 word. The reason why I don't want to include them in this video was because I have already spoken about them in detail in my previous video on forced proximity. So if you guys want to have a little bit more details on these 2 stories, go ahead and head over to that video, okay? And the third honorable mention, which is also the last for today, is Things Past by Ninth Piece of Crate. This is around 44.5 thousand word, and the reason why I'm not including in this video is because I'm reading it right now, so I don't have like an overall view of the story yet. So I'll let you guys know once I finish reading it, okay? So the first true recommendations that we have in this video is Tea and Necromancy by Save Our Skinship, and this is around 40,000 word. This is an 8-year story where Draco had came back to Hogwarts to find that Hermione Granger has declared herself dead while being alive, and while no one was being concerned about that statement at all, damn it, that they were being enemies, Draco Malfoy took it upon himself to investigate that statement and figure out what's wrong with Hermione Granger. I knew that I had to read this story immediately after I finished reading that synopsis. This story is one that I love so much, and in fact it inspired this whole video, and it's one of my very recent read in 2024 too. This story surprised me because it has one of the softest Draco that I have ever read in the whole Dramione fandom. Draco just genuinely cared for Hermione, and he always showed up no matter what. He is just persistent, and he is almost as stubborn as Hermione. And the Hermione that we have in this story is also one of my favorite actually. She's strong, she's resilient, but she also has that soft edges to her. My heart just breaks for Hermione in this story, and I just wanted to hug her. With all of that I just said, it's not a light piece of work. It has many dark themes, and also has a super gorgy graphic description as well, so make sure that you check out the tags before you read this story, okay? But at the same time, I want you guys to know that for someone who is chicken as me, I love this story because I feel like the author did a very great job in introducing lightness into the story, whether in via like the romance or the moments or the banter between Draco and Hermione, or via humor. And we're talking about Theodore Knott type of humor, okay? We have a side knot pot in this story as well. And so with all of that, you guys already know that this story is a catch. So go ahead and read this right now, okay? The next story, we have One of the Monster by Galfoy. And yes, I know it's another Galfoy story, and I'm not trying to be funny, okay? I just love Galfoy's story and blame Galfoy for being so talented that I always have to keep recommending her story in my video. This story is about 32,000 words, a wartime story where the war did not end at the final battle, but it just dragged on and on for years with no winning or losing side. And Draco Malfoy, a very high rank in the Voldemort's regime soldier, started to doubt himself, doubt his involvement in the war, and doubt everything that he has ever been taught his whole life. So he turned to a very muggle escape, that is the London Tube. And here he started to discover many answers. The synopsis of this story isn't what I just told you guys, but it is one of my favorite synopsis in the whole Dramione fandom, and I'm not even biased. I'm gonna read it to you guys, okay? That was a funny thing. It was like a tick, harmless on the surface, but when it burrowed in deep, extremely dangerous. For Draco Malfoy, a successful Death Eater, ruthless soldier, and brow pure blood, it may just be his downfall. This is one of the stories that the synopsis doesn't tell you anything, and I wanted to keep it that way, okay? You guys need to go into this story blind. Trust me, I will guarantee you that you will have a good time, and you guys will remember this story forever and forever. I love all Galfoy's story, and she's my favorite Dramione fanfiction author, but this is one of my favorite work from her, and I just love the intricacy of the plot, the twist and turn, and the surprises that Galfoy has for us in this story. I spent a 1.5 hour road trip just relaying this story to my boyfriend, like word for word. This is one of the stories that 3 years later, I still remember the details and I can almost like memorize the story and relate it to you guys right now. We have a very lovely story, and that is Until the Ink Run Rise by dramione, and this is a post-war story written in the epistolary format, so the entire story are exchange of letter between Draco and Hermione. Now Draco is in Azkaban for the war crimes that he has committed. The story started when Hermione reached out to him to represent him in a project that she's working on, where she tries to help Death Eater who has received an unfair sentence. This is going to be a very fun reading experience for you guys, because like I said, the entire story are written in the letter format, so you read one Hermione letter and one Draco letter at a time, and it's going to be such a refreshing experience for you guys if you guys have not tried it before. dramione did an amazing job, did a masterful job letting the characters of our Draco and Hermione sit through the page and glaring at us. If you think that Draco cannot be snarky and flirty from Azkaban, then think again and read the story, okay? I think I have talked about dramione in one of my very recent videos already, but I just love how dramione write the love between Draco and Hermione, and the moment that they select for us to see is just very precious, like very expensive. And I almost never discuss any specific details of a story in my video before, but I feel like I need to say this for dramione. One of my favorite details in Until the Ink Run Rise is when Hermione sends a origami crane for Draco, and Draco write back and say that he has the prettiest cell in Azkaban because he has her little bird decor. Tell me you don't want to read it. After that, tell me. The last thing I want to say about Until the Ink Run Rise is that you must read the epilogue, because it will be the most rewarding journey to happiness. One of the most rewarding journey to happiness that I have ever read in Dramione fandom, and it just like closed all the circle for me, and it just like healed all my pain, all my trauma. So go ahead and do that right now. Next, we have Uncoffin by Lady of Clune, and this story is about 33,000 words long. This is a Voldemort win story where it depicts a very bleak war for us to see. In this war, there are segregation between pure blood and half-blood, and it goes without saying, but Muggleborns will not have a place in this war at all. So Hermione must alter her appearance in order to pass as a half-blood to survive. Now she reunited with Draco just by chance, and Draco, who is now the High Reeve, Voldemort's right-hand man, but Draco doesn't know that Hermione is Hermione. Don't quote me, but I read somewhere that Lim Yu draw the inspiration for the High Reeve from this story, even though it only has 33,000 words. As much impact on me as Manacor did, and it's also one of the stories that I would never ever forget in the Dramione fandom. This is a true enemy to lover story, and I have said this one before, but I feel like the end element of enemy to lover between Draco and Hermione is the most glorious, is the most highlighted in the setting of the war. Draco and Hermione in this story are true enemy. Draco just doesn't know it, and so it opened up one of my most favorite Draco characterization in this whole fandom. We have a super complicated Draco where he's conflicted between doing the right thing and self-preservation, following what he has been taught and what he has been surrounded with his whole life. I think the author just did a masterful job at showing us the other side of Draco, his affection, his softness via Hermione's eye, because I feel like that is just like a tenfold impact. Obviously, with everything that I just told you guys know that this is not going to be a light read. It is going to be an angsty story and a roller coaster of emotion for you guys. And I feel like I have already said the accolade of the prize that I have for Uncoffin already. So please make sure you read this story if that's your cup of tea. The next story, we have Enemies with Benefit by Drusilla Maxima, and this is around 39,000 words. And this whole story is exactly that. Like the title have said, they are enemies with benefits in this story. I want to say that this is a PWP story. And typically, you guys already know I don't do PWP, but for some reason that I can't really explain, I am thoroughly in love with this story. I just love how Hermione is written in this story. She is just ultra understanding and mature, and she doesn't really take any offense or like take anything personal, which is very refreshing to see for our Hermione. But we have a spoiled brat Draco in this story, and he has a lot of unlearning to do, and he will eventually get there. But still, I think one of the reasons why I love it so much is because they are just so hard for each other, and they just cannot deny the fact that they are just pulled toward each other. If you guys are for that aesthetic right now, then I feel like you guys can go ahead and give this story a go. Like I say, it's PWP. There isn't anything else to say about it except that I love it and I can't explain why. Next we have Bells on a Hill by H19, and this is a story where Draco is dumped by Astoria like prior to his wedding, and with all of his wedding planning knowledge, he tries to help Hermione Granger plan her wedding with Ron Weasley. You already know it's gonna turn out great. H19 is a pilot in the Dramione author. It's one of the fan favorite when it comes to Dramione fanfiction, and she's also one of my personal favorite Dramione fanfiction author as well. And so we will not discuss like the quality of the work because you guys already know that it's gonna be top tier with H19. But one thing that I love about every H19 story, including this story, is how she writes Draco and Hermione and their love. I feel like the Draco in H19 story is just pussy whip for Hermione, period. He will do anything for Hermione and he will prioritize her happiness above his own. At the same time, we have a Hermione that are very empathetic, very soft and understanding, and I just feel like that combo just make me feel many different emotions via many different H19 stories. So I think it worked. And if you guys are looking for a romance piece of work when it comes to Dramione, I feel like you guys will never go wrong with H19. And the level of love, the detail, the moment between Draco and Hermione will leave you satisfied, okay? I want to say that H19 is very famous with Remain Nameless, but if that fic is too big for you to commit and you really wanted to just test the water with H19 and see if her writing is for you, then I feel like this story is going to be perfect because it's only around 32,000 words. The last story we have here is The Flatmate by Attica, and this story is about 44,000 words long. In this story, we have the Ministry seizing every possessions that Draco Malfoy owned, including his manor. So he turned into an alcoholic. Harry Potter, who is helping Draco getting his possessions back from the Ministry, has this lovely idea of asking Hermione to take Draco's in. I personally think that this is a story about Draco Malfoy falling in love in 139 days. I started this story because one of you guys have commented on my video saying that this is a forced proximity fic with a lot of banter between Draco and Hermione, and I feel like that's just my cup of tea, so let me just dive right in. This story is very interesting because I feel like it's explored many themes that I personally haven't seen around in Dramione fanfiction, and so it was very refreshing for me to read. Now, I don't know if it's because I just recently read this or not, but I haven't really decomposed my feeling with this story yet. The reason why I said I haven't decomposed my feeling with this story just yet is because we have an unbelievable Draco in this story, and I know that in the name of preservation he started to do things. At the same time, he also showed us his true personality, but sometimes I just wanted to rip his hair out in this story. There's one moment in this story that I am absolutely in love with, and the author has did it so masterfully that I am just like wholeheartedly invested in this story. And so if that's what you're looking for right now, I feel like just give this story a go. I had such a good time reading it, and like I said, I feel so many emotions with it, so I feel like you're not gonna waste your time with this story. And those are 10 of my most favorite 30 to 40,000 word story. Feel free to tell me yours in the comment down below, okay? I will read you guys' fic too, and I know that there are readers out there who also read your comments and draw recommendations from those as well. So I hope you guys have a good time hanging out with me today, and I will see you guys in the next video, okay?